review. As I'm sure you noticed by the title sequence, we are doing The Raven Boys. Whoa! This book is ridiculously popular here on BookTube and on Goodreads. So I'm going to be the one with the unpopular opinion again, but first, let's read the synopsis on Goodreads, shall we? Got it on my trusty laptop here. Every year, Blue Sargent stands next to her clairvoyant mother as the soon-to-be-dead walk past. Blue never sees them until this year when a boy emerges from the dark and speaks to her. His name is Gansey, a rich student at Aglenby, a local private school. Blue has a policy of staying away from Aglenby boys, known as the Raven Boys. They can only mean trouble. But Blue is drawn to Gansey in a way she can't entirely explain. He is on a quest that encompasses 3 other Raven Boys. Adam, the scholarship student who resents the privilege around him. Ronan, the fierce soul whose emotions range from anger to despair. And Noah, the taciturn watcher who notices many things but says very little. For as long as she can remember, Blue has been warned that she will cause her true love to die. She doesn't believe in true love and never thought it would be a problem. But as her life becomes caught in the strange and sinister world of the Raven Boys, she's not sure anymore. Okay, so, like I said, everyone adores this book. I was not impressed. I kept waiting. I desperately wanted to like this book because everyone likes it, and I'm like, what is wrong with me that I don't like this book? But I'm going to try to explain it as best I can with my handy-dandy notebook here. We'll see how we do. First of all, because of the hype, I got really excited for this book to be full of action and magic, and instead it's kind of just faffing about in people's lives as they do various things, like go eat. And I was just like, I wanted action and magic, and it sounded like that maybe was what I was gonna get. And instead it's just like, ho-hum, everyday lives of a bunch of rich kids. Speaking of the everyday lives of a bunch of rich kids, I never really connected with these characters, and you guys know how utterly important it is for me to connect with characters if I'm going to enjoy a book. And none of these guys really spoke to me. The closest I came to enjoying a character moment was when they were at the restaurant where Blue works and Gansey was just fucking it up and putting his foot in his mouth and being a rich kid who doesn't understand how life works. And I was like, that right there, because I actually, in my job, I have contact with a lot of people who have money, and the level of awkward was just right. I'm sorry if you are watching this and you have money, but sometimes rich people are so clueless about life, and Gansey hit that right perfectly in that scene, and then really never again after that did any of the characters speak to me or seem real to me. The boys especially just seem like a cluster of personality traits. In fact, this book reminded me very strongly of those dating games that you can play. The guys' ones are much more about sex, the girls' ones are much more about getting that special kiss or whatever. But of course you have just the personality traits. You've got the cinnamon roll one, which is kind of Adam, except for he's got a little bit of a dark past, because abuse in his family. You've got the standoffish one, that's Noah. You've got the angry one, that's Ronan, and you've got the pretty boy, that's like Gansey. And none of them really elevated themselves out of those personality pits that they were in. They were just personality types, and they never became human beings for me. I also didn't believe for a second that they were friends. Have you ever seen guy friends interact? Because they actually like each other. I know, weird concept. These people seemed like Gansey was just trying to hold these people together, and all the other boys hated each other and hated him. But for some reason Gansey was like, no, we are gonna be a family, damn it. Group of people I have very little reason to like. It was weird and it was frustrating, and I like friendship in my books to feel like friendship and less like a bunch of dudes who hate each other who just happen to have to tolerate each other for some reason. And then there's Blue. Blue, I wanted to like her, but I couldn't because she also was just such a blank character. She had clearly no friends before these boys came into her life with their, men having such important lives and adventures and stuff like that. And so she is just hanging around. We never follow Blue unless she's with her family or with the boys. We never really get to see what else she does or what else she likes other than ripping up her clothes and doing her hair up in interesting ways. But, like, things just happen to Blue. Blue has very little control on what happens in her story, even though she's the main character, supposedly. It really is sort of a Great Gatsby kind of thing, where frickin' Gansey is the main character and Blue is just there. And so I wanted to connect to her, but I just didn't, because stuff just happens to her and she's not an engaging character that feels, to me, that feels fleshed out and whole. I didn't do it, but I'm pretty sure that this book barely passes the Bechdel test. When the characters are talking, there are female characters and they all do talk to each other, but the majority of the time it is still about the boys. And what the boys are doing and the boys and don't see the boys, or I want to see the boys, or the boys are going to die. Everything comes down to these male characters and their adventures. I do like female characters to have some other interests besides these male characters and what they're doing. The pacing in this book I felt to be pretty poor. It would drag on for certain scenes and zip right by other scenes without really my understanding why it was doing that. Especially the really interesting ones that I wanted to get into with the magic and everything seemed like they were over much sooner than all of the scenes just about the people doing stuff, and we were following this professor guy who I didn't care about so aggressively that whenever he had a scene I would just tone out and be like, oh, this fucker again, ha. He's so boring. I hope he dies, and then he did, and I was happy. And then the ending of this book felt really abrupt and rushed, and I was sitting there going, whoa, now we're here. We are here, and we are barreling towards the ending at top speed when we were just meandering around for most of the book, and now, bam, ending. Here we go. And it speaks to me of the book's pacing issues, and it didn't really know what was important and what was not important and what we wanted to read and what we didn't want to read, or at least what I did and didn't want to read. The boys faffing around, trying to find the ley lines, which I also didn't care about, but which the book kept explaining to me. Did you notice that at the beginning, every time the ley lines were brought up, they were explained again? To the point where ley lines are explained twice in 2 paragraphs, one right after the other. They explain ley lines, and I was like, okay, book, I understand what those are now. Please stop telling me. Honestly, if I was going to pick up a book that had a lot of characters and a supernatural element going on, I would definitely choose The Diviners by Libba Bray over this one. Now, The Diviners is not a perfect book, but I definitely enjoyed it a lot more than this one, and if you are one of the very few people like me who found yourself frustrated with these characters, you might actually find yourself being engaged with the characters over on The Diviners. Maybe. Who knows? That's my recommendation anyway. Go read that instead of this. So The Raven Boys. Those were my thoughts. Unpopular opinions coming at you right over here about that book. If you love The Raven Boys, well, you're not alone, but feel free to comment down below and let me know how wrong I am. That's what the comment section is for. Or if you are a kindred spirit and really didn't like this book but were too afraid to say anything because of the rabid fan base that these books have, comment below. We will have solidarity together, alright? Alright, so if you actually enjoyed what you saw here for some reason, feel free to share it with your friends, and of course like, subscribe, blah blah blah, you know the drill. And don't forget you can get a copy of my self-published book, Phoenix, if you're looking to review something and rip it to shreds. Perfect for you. Go to town. I'll love you forever, even if you tell everyone that it's the worst book in the world. I don't even care. Go ahead. And I will see you guys next time when we will do whatever the fuck I'm doing next time. Whee! Bye!